So welcome back, everybody. Today with Clara and me, we have the great pleasure to have with us Aahd Jarrar, who's a Palestinian Dutch activist, actively speaking out against genocide and injustice in Palestine. So welcome, Aahd, to Ottolina TV, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure too.
So Aahd is also related to Khalida Jarrar, the Palestinian leader who was arrested last December by the Israeli forces. So the first if you have some kind of information about it, and if you have any hopes for her release.
Well, yeah, Khalida Jarrar is definitely an icon for all of us of Jarrar family. As everyone knows the news that her husband already was giving on the like the platforms and media. Unfortunately, the condition of her prison is not really good. Already she has been tortured. The prison, it's already like a small room, and it's already like all of the women have faced all that torture and sexual assault as well. For Khalida, unfortunately, her health, she feels that every day she's losing a day and she's near to death, as that the word that they referring to. Further information we don't have as well. We hope that she will be released, not just she, all the prisoners, definitely. But with the occupier, the Israelis, you really never know what it can happen. I will give you another example with another also Jarrar family. Her name was Wafa. She was also in prison for 2 months. She just got arrested with her husband, and she was in a good health condition. And after 2 months, they released her, but she had so many complications as well. And then they had to cut her legs. And after she has been released, she was also in bad condition, and then she died. I hope that won't happen to Khalida Jarrar, but literally that's the thing that you can't predict what's happening and how long it's gonna last and when they will be released.
Okay, thank you, Had. And since we are talking about the prisoners and the sexual abuse and the torture that they are forced to live every day, we can imagine. So. Do you have an idea? Of how many people there are now in the Israeli prisons? So we have some kind of number that for them to have a better idea of this phenomenon.
Well, as also we know, it's above than 10,000 prisoners. We don't have an exact numbers definitely, but I can tell you like more exact numbers that 3,400 of these prisoners are under the administrative detention, which is totally different than normal detention and ruling. That which means like they have no idea what they are arrested for. They don't go to like a court or face all this. So they actually every day waiting to hear something why they have been arrested for. And from that number, it's nearly 200 kids. They are still even not teenagers, and 30 of them are women. So you can tell that also with all this information, we don't have exact numbers, and they don't have the exact idea why they are arrested for.
Hi, Had, and I want to ask you about this argument of prisoner. If there any organization in the West that work to protect Palestinian prisoners in Israel? And if so, what results have they achieved?
Well, the most actively organization is called PPSMO, which is the Palestinian prisoner community kind of organization. This is the only kind of more active and local, as I can say, to be able to push. But under the oppression and occupation really is hard. They can do freely their jobs. And you can see as well with all the other international organizations, already they also their hands are tied. And if I might say and be open as well, they are also corrupt as well. They can't do much. They have to be told what they have to be done, what it has to be done, and what they have to report or not. So basically, even if you have the enough information, not everything can be released. Not all of the organizations can do their job because it's already, let's face it, they need funding, and funding comes from governmental, where it's already the hand are tied, and they need to follow the protocol to be able to get that funding. So basically, I will give, if I have a minute, I will give also an example from the US called Josh Paul. He was the former director at the US Department of State. So he got a report from charity called Defense of Children International Palestine. About 13 years old kid who was raped at the Musikafia jail in Jerusalem. And then when he already got the report with all the evidence on his desk, so he went to the IDF next day, and he to the office, DCIP office, and he says okay, here are all the evidence that you are actually not following the international law and all that. What's happened? The IDF next day, they went to that office and then they destroyed all the computers. So even when you have evidence really to push the international law or prisoner law, unfortunately, everything got rid of and destroyed because they don't want all the evidence to come out.
And in your daily work as an activist, what can be done? I mean, you're talking about a very close situation, like a bubble, which is very difficult to get in because of all the complicity that the main important country have with Israel and with what's going on. So it's very difficult, of course, also for independent organization to achieve any truth information or any kind of data, of course. So I was wondering to not fall in desperation, also for you as activists, what can be done and what are you trying to do?
Well, definitely we have always to see the positive side, because without that we can't keep going. Definitely, let's face it, no one knew about 100% what's happened in Palestine except the Palestinians, or really super activists who were in the West Bank and saw everything on in their eyes. The big achievement that everyone now sees that it's hard that all the people, they had to live stream their genocide, and any second they can be killed. But after 76 years, let's put it that way, and finally a lot of people saw what we have been talking about. Because before the social media, even I have my concerns about the social media and the shadowing, everything is happening to silence us. But we got an advantage, to show people. Unfortunately, it cost of our life as Palestinians. But liberation cost a lot. It's really highly cost, which is already, we understand that you can have all like names, let's say Algeria, South Africa, each country fighting for the liberation has to give a lot to achieve that. Definitely, maybe we don't see an immediate results. I can tell like maybe in 5 or 10 years that we will find the results, but definitely every step is reaching us towards the liberation. To be honest, you can also see how the knowledge of the people now they have about the Palestinian cause and the Palestinian case. Before, everyone was just like, when you talk, because of the, sorry for my word, the YOLO media, we were talking, it's just like, oh yeah, that's what happened because they want to take their land, the other land. It's just like, it's already our land. When you start having that conversation and the knowledge start actually become more than before with the people, then we have achieved something. I have now a lot of people, they come to me to understand like what looks like to be a Palestinian in that situation. That's an achievement. When people now start fighting for, let's say, the standard of human rights, this is also achievement, because until now, as you saw, we hear Netanyahu was always saying that Palestinians as an animals. So people were just going through this. Definitely, as I said, you have to keep raising your voice. You have to keep talking about it. Depends on each one how they come and approach to you. Some people, they come and they want now to understand the history about Palestine because they had no idea what is that. Some people talk to me about like, oh, how do you feel like now, Khalida Jarrar, or talking about Jenin, or talking about Gaza. I start explaining as well our story. Now they understand that my family had to fly, our grandparents, they had to fly in 1948 in the first Nakba, where no one knows that also like back then we used to be refugees as well. So it's also for us, we split. Palestinians are now everywhere, but always we have our keys, which is that now the symbols that everyone understood why Palestinians always we have the keys with us. Even maybe like already our homes are like down and we're not gonna see them, but that's what actually belongs to us and that's what keeps us going.
Clear. And do you also think that even if the costs were in terms of victims, families, was outrageous, but could we say that the 7 October operation organized by Hamas could have also this kind of could have also this kind of goal to put again the Palestinians on the public opinion? I don't know if you still did you hear me, because I had a problem with the connection.
I guess your question is if that would be before 7th of October, if the knowledge
Yeah, I
would be
know.
like that.
Yes. I was asking you if, according to you, I mean, at least now the Palestinian cause is a theme and is a political issue for a lot of countries, and we are again talking about it. So paradoxically, we are more close to a better solution, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years of the Palestinian cause than before, because before we had just gradually extinction in the silence of Palestinian people in Palestine. Now it's a bit different, maybe.
Yeah. I guess, to be honest, after 10, like almost year now, we are talking about the genocide. Probably everyone was thinking about it differently, about October 7th, how it started, and everyone was blaming at the beginning. But now we can see it's like turned out for our favor as a Palestinian, let's put it that way. I guess what's happened, and let's face it, that was also in the news that Hamas said that they didn't want to have it like that, and it's already they tried to negotiate with the occupier Israel about like to take the hostages, so they don't want to escalate it as well. Yeah, it's let's, as we said, like let's see the positive side of it. It's already, like as I said, a highly cost. But in another hand, when no one can negotiate about their liberation, which has already started, like not just Hamas, all the other Palestinian politicians, they were also trying to like push that, but they always had to compromise as well with the another like political countries involved. Yeah, after 7th to 11th, yeah, unfortunately, this is the only way now. If you see also all the demonstrations all over the world, everyone is actually talking about one thing. It's not about Hamas as a group, but as a cause. Liberation is the only solution. So I guess yes.
And also a very important signal, I think, was that the response of a lot of students in the West were so strong, and not just for maybe 2 weeks or 1 month, because often we see this kind of mediatic attention and then the demonstration stop, but it's a kind of daily support. And also in America, we interviewed some journalists that told us that they didn't see anything like that since the war in Vietnam. So it's something that's really touched some important core of American Zionist system, and it's a cultural defeat, I could say, that the system that the regime had. I don't know if you agree. Even of course, all the repressions, all this it was consequentially, but yes.
Yeah, I do believe in that movement as well. And to be honest, it helped a lot because we always hear that like the new generation probably they kind of have no purpose, which is now they prove us wrong. Like, hey, we fight as well. What touched me as well is, let's face it, as you said, Vietnam War, but also we have the South Africa as well, where it started also in Columbia University in the US. So, which, if that won't be effective before, then governments, they won't be afraid about this movement, which is already, as you said, like it's already they kept going. In the summer period where the school already, they had the summer vacation, we saw like a little bit like kind of calm, let's say, atmosphere. But proudly I can say last week already the students in Amsterdam, they went back and they were crazy on the streets and they are not giving up. Actually, one of the statements that I made was like, okay, hope our mayor in Amsterdam, she got a happy summer because now she has to deal with that again, which is already effective.
Okay, in a few weeks it will be 1 year since the Al-Aqsa flood operation beginning, and the invasion of Israel from Israel by Israel too. The peace talk have been dragging on for a long time without reaching a conclusion. Why can't an agreement be reached? About you?
Why, sorry?
Why can't an agreement be reached?
Uh, well, we can see is also like all these agreements they are trying to reach, which is always the politically play that Hamas doesn't want to like to do it. But last couple of agreements was stopped by Israel Netanyahu, which means that already now it's so obvious that he doesn't want to stop it, and he's benefiting that for his own political reasons to stay in the chair, which, in another hand, also our government's making benefit of this, which is I don't know why they don't stop it. We have, let's say, the ICJ, which is already like the highest court, and still, until now, they can't force the ruling that they had, like to arrest Netanyahu and the others. But I'm talking now about the Israeli government. So basically, why no one has an answer for that? Definitely they benefit of this. But definitely, like, US is still selling a lot of like machines. Netherlands as well, the F-35 planes. Unfortunately, I wish it would stop, but I don't think that it would stop unless the high pressure will come from all other governments on Netanyahu to agree on this deal, which is now the US is the highest player. And we will see also now with the US, and almost Joe Biden will leave the presidency as well. So we will see. I don't know.
Well, Israel started a week ago an offensive against West Bank, in particular in Jenin, your city. What's the situation right now?
Again, as you see, everything is live streamed again. It's basically slowly started to be as Gaza. They start as people, killing people on the streets, having injured Palestinians as a human shield on their bulldozers and like cars. They start also like destroying all the infrastructure as well, which is like one of the things that no one understands, why to do that while on the streets where like a pharmacy or like a kids shop or whatever. But it's brutally, they don't want to have any Palestinians because the movement starts getting bigger and bigger. I guess also the international pressure from students, people, activists, they're having all the pressure where it's already, they didn't expect that. They expected after 1 month everything will be okay. So I guess, yeah, Jenin, unfortunately, it's been always under the pressure, but now we see it again live streamed. I hope it stops. But after like last 2 days with all the infrastructure that they have been destroying, I don't think that anything would stop them.
When will Netanyahu stop? Which is his goal, do you think?
Netanyahu would stop in one way, I guess, if he will be assassinated. He's not gonna stop unless because there is another people who push him to do that. So either the whole government will change, which is I don't expect that it will change, and if it's changed, it's not gonna change for the Palestinian because the aiming for them to actually not have any Palestinians. When it will stop, I guess, when our governments, they had to push him and to stop him because otherwise it will keep going.
Aahd, thank you very much for this conversation. We of course give you all Palestinian people our solidarity as much as is possible. We try as Ottolina TV with our channel to report daily what's going on there, and of course we really hope that in some way, not only is going to be a ceasefire, but maybe in 5 years, 10 years, as you were saying, there's going to be a Palestinian free state and independent and sovereign state. That's, of course, our hope, and I think also yours. Thank you very much again, and thank you, Clara, and thank you, everybody who was listening to us. Thank you very much, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.